exploded now. Bayern Munich's stance on Harry Kane exit revealed after release clause news. Welcome back to Tottenham News Today channel. A fresh report has shed light on what Bayern Munich are thinking about the possibility of Harry Kane leaving the Allianz Arena for a cut price fee after the details of a release clause in his contract become public. Harry Kane stays silent on release clause. Kane has continued to hit the back of the net with unbelievable regularity since his swapping Spurs for Bayern Munich 18 months ago, with the centre-forward looking set to fire the club to the Bundesliga title this term after they missed out on the prize last season. However, the possibility of the striker exiting the Allianz Arena in the summer remains on the cards after it emerged last week that a clause in his contract allows him to leave for just £54 million in the next transfer window if he wants a move. This has led to plenty of speculation over the 31-year-old's future, and the former Tottenham man broke his silence on the matter a few days ago, stating that he is happy at the Bavarian club, but refusing to comment on the clause. A fresh update by Football Insider has now said that despite the exit clause, Bayern remain relaxed about Kane's future right now. The report claims that neither the striker nor the German club are currently considering a summer exit as a real possibility for the England captain. Both parties are happy to continue working together, as the striker is said to be pleased with the way things are going for him at Munich. Vincent Kompany's side are unwilling to weaken their squad in the summer and consider a summer exit to be off the table for the former Spurs man. Having moved to Bayern in order to compete for and win major silverware, it would be puzzling if Kane decided to leave the club after just 2 years. The centre-forward will want to add several titles to his CV before eventually returning to the Premier League so that he can make sure that his legacy cannot be questioned. However, one would think that the player will be tempted to return to England eventually, and Spurs fans will be hoping that a fairy tale switch to N17 is on the cards for their record goalscorer. Fabrizio Romano shares Simone Inzaghi update after Tottenham contract claim. Tottenham manager Ange Postecoglou is under immense pressure at N17, amid claims that Spurs are targeting Inter Milan boss Simone Inzaghi as a replacement for the Australian. Tottenham identified potential replacements for Postecoglou. Tottenham's current injury crisis has been well documented, with Postecoglou's side into double digits when it comes to missing senior players. However, there is also a genuine case to be made that Spurs' form still hasn't been good enough, and criticism aimed at Tottenham's manager has centred around his lack of a Plan B approach. Spurs are believed to be doing their due diligence on potential replacements for Postecoglou, with Brentford boss Thomas Frank, Bournemouth's Andoni Iraola, and ex-Borussia Dortmund head coach Edin Terzic, all linked with the role recently. Another tactician they're believed to be very interested in, according to reports out of Italy this week, is Nerazzurri boss Simone Inzaghi. The 48-year-old guided Inter to a Scudetto last season and a Champions League final the campaign before that, with Inter also contending for another Serie A title this season, as they fiercely challenge Antonio Conte's Napoli at the top of the Italian top flight. Inter Live reported this week that Fabio Paratici is pushing Spurs to consider Inzaghi as manager, and if they do fire Postecoglou, then the Lily-Whites are apparently ready to offer the coach a very rich contract. Now, amid claims of Tottenham's serious interest, reliable journalist Fabrizio Romano has shared an update on Inzaghi's future at the San Siro. Speaking to Give Me Sport, the reporter claims that Inter want to hand Inzaghi a new contract as an urgent priority, despite him only just signing a new deal around 8 months ago, with the Lily-Whites and other top clubs seemingly lurking. "It's now an urgent topic at Inter," said Romano on Inzaghi's potential new contract. Spurs' interest is justified considering the Inter boss's glowing reputation among critics and players alike, but it looks like the Serie A giants will fight tooth and nail to keep him. "He knows more about tactics than any of the other coaches that I've had," said former striker Felipe Caicedo. "By playing simple football, he gets you feeling good. He makes you feel important. He makes you understand right away that he lives for football. He loves it and he wants to win." Spurs want to sign highly rated Bayer Leverkusen defender. According to a report from Sportbild, Tottenham have Bayer Leverkusen and Ecuador defender Piero Hincapié on their list for the summer transfer window. They state that Spurs are long-term admirers of the defender and tried to sign him in 2023. They also state that he was very high on the club's list in 2024. When recently discussing the player, they said, internally, Bayer Leverkusen expect Piero Hincapié to bring in a fee of around £58 million whenever he leaves. The Ecuadorian, who recently extended his contract until 2029, still sees his future at the German champions for the time being, although top clubs around Europe are monitoring him. Diego Simeone tried to get the 23-year-old to move to Atletico Madrid multiple times in the past, most recently last summer. Chelsea, Tottenham and Napoli also had him very high on their lists. In truth, £58 million for a player of his quality is reasonable, particularly with him being tied down for a further 4 years. He is a seriously top-level player who played a big part in Leverkusen winning a domestic double last season, as well as going undefeated in 52 of their 53 games across all competitions. Furthermore, as well the quality of the player, the contract situation, and still being just 22 years old, his versatility is another tick in the box when it comes to being worth the investment. He has played at a high level both as a left wing-back and a left centre-back in a back three. For those worrying about how he would do in a four, he has often played in one at centre-back for the national team. Seriously top player. Spurs have a number of Spanish-speaking players, though maybe fewer next season, which could help him to settle in. And given how English-speaking Germany is as a nation, there is quite a likelihood that he can already speak the language pretty well. This would be an absolutely brilliant signing, both for the short term and the long term. He is already a top-class player and has only just turned 23 years of age. Despite still being fairly young, he is a very experienced player who has played in the Champions League and at a World Cup, not looking out of place at either of those competitions. This is a no-brainer if the opportunity arises. Tottenham could battle Arsenal for Inter Milan's star with 14 goals this season. Spurs are reportedly eyeing a summer move for an electric Serie A forward who has been finding the back of the net with impressive regularity so far this season, but they face competition from Arsenal for the player. Although Spurs signed Mathys Tel from Bayern Munich in January, the club may need to add more goals to their front line again when the transfer market reopens. It has now been reported that Tottenham may turn to one Serie A star who fired Inter Milan to the Scudetto last season. According to the Metro, Tottenham are keeping tabs on Marcus Thuram's situation ahead of the summer, even though the forward is not expected to come cheap. The France international has registered 13 goals and 7 assists for the Nerazzurri in 24 league games as he looks to fire the club to back-to-back league titles. The report reveals that the 27-year-old has a release clause of £71 million in his contract and is also on the radar of other Premier League sides. Arsenal are said to be evaluating a move for Thuram at the end of the season, while Manchester United are also keeping an eye on his situation. It turns out that Thuram might not be the only Serie A star that the two North London clubs battle for. The same report says that if the Gunners are not able to push through a deal for the former Borussia Mönchengladbach man, they might launch a move for Moise Kean, who has been a revelation since his switch from Juventus to Fiorentina last summer. This update comes just days after Givmesport revealed that Tottenham hold a great interest in Moise Kean and are considering pushing ahead with a summer move for the former Everton man. That's it for today's update. If you liked the video and want to keep up with everything Tottenham, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications for our latest content. Remember to give this video a thumbs up and share it with other Spurs fans. Let's build our Tottenham News Today community together. Thanks for watching, and as always, come on you Spurs.